Oh, hi. So, hi, I'm the blind man handyman Bruce, and this is a Dodge truck that I've put together. I did it like 6 years ago, went to the Yukon gold mining with it, and took me like 3 or 4 years first to build it. Did most of the work by myself, and I'm going to give you a walk around and show you what I've done. And now she's just sitting here. Hopefully, my son will take it over. I've got a new project I'm working on, hopefully, going to be building a mechanic truck. Because gold mining I'm not really so good at because I can't operate any equipment. I do a lot better being a mechanic, so mechanic is what I'm going to be doing. I really like doing it, and it keeps me busy because watching heavy equipment just drive around kind of gets boring, but keeping them running that's what I'm good at. So here we go. Let's take a walk around and check this truck out. So we're starting off in the engine bay. So in the engine bay here, this thing used to leak like crazy. I've taken these covers, these here off. These are the valve covers. I put new rubber boots all the way in here. I pulled these injectors out. These are the injectors. I pulled these all out, and I have a poppet tester. It's in my other garage, and we check the pressure that it pops off at the right time. The timing cover here leaked, and I put a new down in the bottom, down here. If you look, the fan clutch broke. The fan clutch broke and broke the plastic here. So there's been a new fan clutch put in. I had to re-straighten the fins. So there's new clutch fan. And the timing cover here, that was all taken off. And I had to put a new gasket there and a new gasket down on the main crank because she was leaking like oil. There was oil everywhere in this truck when I bought it. We took the injection pump and retimed the injection pump because someone had modified this truck and I wanted this truck to be reliable. So I defueled it. It was fueled right up. So I defueled it so it was back to stock power. So I didn't want it overheating because we were going to be pulling a heavy trailer all across Canada to go gold mining. Had to do some wiring here. All the wiring, a lot of the plugs were cut out and then soldered back up. It's the wiring is down here somewhere on the chassis. I'm not sure where it's at right this second, but this is all probably tied up somewhere. But somewhere down here on the chassis, the wiring has maybe I got to pull the fender well out. So I've changed under here. There's been a new fuel pump. I've had to change that injection pump. There's a pump down there, and that brings the fuel from the tank to the injection pump. I've had to change that twice because it had a high performance one, and it started spewing at the side. I've had to took the vacuum pump out because the little veins in it, they're like plastic pieces that slide out. They were stuck, so I took that out and I put a new power steering pump. It's down in here somewhere. Yep. Well, I got a big old flashlight over here. I figure out where the light button is, man. I never use a light. I think you got my other light, don't you? The stick one? Yeah, I need that back. Well, because it's hard because this one's so big. Is that light on now? Well, you can't tell, can you? Okay. All right, so down in here is where the wiring was. Somewhere here. And this isn't the only place. Anywhere there was a plug, I've cut the wiring out that was down here. And it runs along the chassis somewhere down here. Then on here, I've replaced, these are all new wheel bearings that I put onto it before we went across Canada because it's 10,000 kilometers almost each way. So new wheel bearings. We burned up one set of tires going up there. I changed the universal joints and all the ball joints, the universal joints, all under here. I did all that work, all of it pretty well by myself. I took the front differential apart, changed the gaskets and the seals because they used to leak out the seals. If you had it parked here, all the diff oil would run out on the ground. I have a new drive shaft for it. That's the second drive shaft. But I have a brand new one out there just for a spare because it's been twisted off. She used to just leak oil like a sieve, but she doesn't leak oil anymore. So that's the front part of it. And then I put shocks in her because there was two different types of shocks in it. I got shocks put on both sides now. They're the proper ones. because I had one short one, one long one. Someone was doing kind of crazy repairs. Then I had electrical issues here. One of the problems with it, if you take the long loopy wire that comes from the, I know exactly, here's the wiring, and there's big wires that run from here. They run down and around, and they're kind of wires are kind of hard. And where's the, oh yeah, I also put all new wiring stuff. Okay, so I put new wiring stuff here for the trailer brakes, and I wired it all with really heavy wires. And then, like I said, there's wire that runs down from the battery, and then it comes down around to this. Oh, this is the electrical box here, and then it comes up, and then it goes to this. There should be a relay up here somewhere on the firewall. So it's the main heater relay and a starter relay. It's up here on the firewall somewhere. Sometimes it falls down, so it could be down or it could be up. And then I had to take the whole rack out of here for the wipers. All the bushings were in this, so I put and I had to rebuild the windshield wiper motor because it wouldn't stop at the right spots and stuff. And then there's an exhaust brake put on this. I'll show that to you in a minute. What else did we do to this? I took all the intercooler stuff off and cleaned all the tubes out. Oh yeah, and and any rubber lines that were bad, anything that was bad. If there was anything wore, I took it out. The steering shaft here, that steering shaft, that's another one I had to put in. And like down in there is you might be able to see it, I'm not sure. The newer injection pump. There's a brand new starter. You can probably even notice that it's new, because that's the second one in it. The batteries weren't charged up, and they tried turning it over, and it melted the starter. Something on the starter. Then, well, I'm not exactly sure what was going on actually, but that's what I assume anyway. Then there's the vacuum pump and the power steering pump that's down there. And over here I have a new water pump for it. I never did use it. This one's been great. I changed all the tensioners when you travel across Canada. The only thing that broke when we went across Canada is this fan clutch and one tie rod didn't wear out. That's all that wore out going across Canada and back. Over here you can see the exhaust brake, because we were pulling a big heavy trailer. The exhaust brake is right here. So I put all this in and I plumbed most of all this stuff myself. And I had a friend and we took all the valves out and we put new push rods up and through it. Yeah. Then the turbo was busted. I needed a new actuator for the wastegate wasn't working right. So there's a new wastegate operating system on the turbo. Sorry about the light again. And then, yeah, so the wastegate, there's been a lot of work done to this truck. And then on this side, I did the same thing. No experience spared. I mean, I don't need it would cost me so much more just to get towed with a trailer and everything. So to get this fixed, so this is new wheel bearings on this side, and the big universal joints, that's all been changed. All the ball joints in there have been changed. The shocks were changed. We had to fix the doors. I put these great big tow mirrors on it for towing. They flip up like that. So you can see the big tow mirrors that I put onto it. So we towed a 27-foot trailer. I had to change the heater core in this truck because the heater core rotted out. I forgot about that as well. What else do I have to do? And we had all kinds of trouble with the locks, but I took the doors apart. They're still kind of funky, but they work. But the skins, I screwed them back in. Let's go over here. I sort of got like the door skins here. They're kind of loose. I think this one's better than the driver one because I think I put a bunch of self-tapping screws in it. So then this thing got smashed up in Dawson. This was just fixed. This whole side was caved in, but we got it fixed up. So this is going to be my son's truck. And so that's all fixed now. What else do we do? In the cab, I put it in here. They have a problem with the torque converter locking properly on these trucks. So in here, I did some wiring. I have a torque converter lock system in here that after when it gets into certain gears, it locks the torque converter up so it doesn't slip. So it's a torque converter locker. And then we got I'll go show the other side, the driver's side. I changed all the universal joints on the drive shaft. The idler bearing, the center bearing holding the drive shaft up. I changed that. All the U joints. We've got a light there, and I put HID headlights in here and all new lenses. These were like yellow, so I put all new lenses into it. I wanted to make sure we had lots of light. I can't see, but I want everybody else to. One blind guy is enough. So, oh yeah, I had to change the clock spring in the steering wheel. Then we had to change. This has got a throttle system on it for you can set the throttle. Then we have this is where the exhaust brake and stuff comes into it. I'm not sure if that's the switch, but that's not the switch. This one here. That's the exhaust brake there. But she needs to be running because it works on vacuum. So when we go down the truck, in the rear, I took the whole rear differential apart and cleaned it all out. Put new seals in the whole rear diff. She was leaking, but she didn't leak no more. So I took the diff cover off, pulled the pumpkin out, put it all back in, put the pinion gear out, and put all seals in that. Then the same back here. There's all new drums. They still probably look pretty good, but we got some critters on there. So the drums, you can't risk this stuff if you're pulling a heavy load. I put brand new drums and brand new brakes on it. The brakes weren't even that bad on it. Just someone didn't someone put new brakes on it, but they didn't slack adjust them and put them on properly. So actually, I still got the new brake pads for it because the brake pads, whoever did the work, the back brakes weren't even touching. So I think I left the brake pads and just used the new drums because the drums wore so bad that when someone was pressing the brakes, the back brakes weren't even engaging. The rotors on it wore right. If I had the rotors here, I could show them to you. But the rotors were like cut right into because they had no brakes. They were pulling the trailer and there was no brakes on the back of the truck. So this is a new flat deck. This has only been put on in the last. Flat deck's only been put on in the last couple months. There's still more work to do to it. Got to put some mud flaps on her. And I want to put a back piece on the back here. But I have this other project that's on the deck right now. So I want to put a part on the back here and build her up. Maybe put some toolboxes hanging down on the side here. Maybe we could do that to it. And this here is just it's going to be a nice truck just for carrying some skids or different materials. So there was new shocks put on this, and all new brake lines from one end to the other. Every brake line was changed on this machine pretty well. If it had any rust on it, it was changed. I'm not sure if I rebuilt the master cylinder on this truck. Yeah, that's one thing I'm not sure about, but pretty well everything else. And then the transmission, I forgot about that. I took the transmission all apart and changed there was a restriction in the flow on the valve body, so I put the new adapt that you can buy, the Bosch pieces to go in and fix the valve body so there's a better flow. And then I changed all the seals in that as well, and we readjusted the bands on the transmission because the transmission probably had probably had 50 or 60,000. It was a used transmission, a new rebuilt one that was in it, but so we just tightened up all the bands and the transmission worked pretty good. So that all worked out. We made it all the way up to Dawson City back, pulling a trailer that had about 10,000 pounds in it. It had a mini excavator, and it had our kitchen and our clothes and our generator. We had a generator running, and we went all the way up through COVID. We had our bathroom aboard and all of our food. We cooked it as we went. So this is the Dodge truck that I rebuilt, and now I'm about to do a mechanic truck because miner I'm not, but mechanic I am. So I know I've always been a mechanic. I just trying to find a way because sometime if it comes up that I can see again, it's going to take money. And I figured, well, gold mine maybe, because my dad was into the gold mining, so I wanted to do that with him. So doing the fixing stuff is what I'm good at. So this is my lift. Actually, I got this lift from NAPA. It's a 12,000 pound lift. And they really did awesome job with me, and they gave me a super deal on this lift. And I like working on 4x4 trucks. And as you can see, I got this truck here, and I've got, if you look inside, I got 2 more out here. I got a dump truck out there, F350, crew cab, and then behind that is another F350 V10 4-wheel drive. But I can lift these trucks up. I had another truck that was like a 9,000 pound lift that was 30 years old, and I expressed my concerns to NAPA that I really wanted to lift, and that for safety and all that kind of stuff, and they came to bat for me, and they helped me out get this lift here. And I really love it. It's an awesome lift, and I feel really comfortable when I'm working on this lift. It certainly has made my job. I was always terrified with the other one. Actually, I'll tell you a story of my other one. Inside the lift, there's these arms, because I got the lift secondhand, and inside these arms, there's pieces like this, like a tree. They're on an angle, so when the vehicle falls, it catches on these hooks. But on one side of this here, on the other side, the arms were the opposite way, so the truck actually fell down on one side, almost fell on top of us. And it was a snap-on lift. I tried to call them, but I think what happened, I think they might have gave the company, I don't know how this lift got sold or whatever, but I ended up getting this lift, but it was actually built wrong. And while I took it apart and fixed it, I know someone who has it now, and it's safe and fine now, but it wasn't safe. It was right from manufacturing. They had manufactured one side wrong. But I know this lift is built properly, because I looked at it, I put this up, and it's a beautiful lift. Well, thanks for watching my YouTube video on my Dodge truck and its build. And I'm hoping that you guys will watch the mechanic truck when it shows up. And I got to put a transmission in it. And I'm hoping that NAPA and we could work together and we could get it all put together. Because that truck's been sitting almost 2 years. So it's going to need all new brakes and rotors and drums and whatever it takes to build it. I want to put all new U-joints. Just like I did this. I want my stuff to be reliable. I'm going to fix stuff. Like when I went up to Yukon, I went to go mining. Not to be working on my truck. I'm going with this mechanic truck to go fix other trucks. I don't need to be working on mine. So I want to get it done here. And when I'm done, it's done. I want it as good as it can be as a new. Well, thanks for viewing, and you take care. And don't forget to hit the subscribe and like. Have a good day. Bye, Matt Handyman. Talk to you later.